Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Temerian Tuesday, and if you feel like me, this season is, well, a little exhausting. Just kind of seeing a lot of the same stuff you've seen for the last 3 seasons over and over and over again, kind of on replay tape. Sometimes you get some remixes, but it's mostly the same song. So let's play some seasonal this week. And I want to show off some fun ideas that we had that just are a total riot. And you need to do them because you need to have some fun. Alright, so let's walk you through this. So we got a Nero, Amphib, we've got Drogue with Merciless, and I love Vernon here because you actually get to play 2 cards. Obviously he does stick around on the opponent's side, but he's a 3-point unit so he can feed the Drogs. And then if you are working on spells, these Forbidden Magics work quite well. Since I've already done the spells, we're going to be tucking those away and going for units. But if you don't, I'd had them in here just to show you guys, if you're still working on those contracts, they work really, really well. Now, if you don't have those contracts, or you just don't care about Journey, then you're going to want to come in here and add as many units as you can with carryover value. So everybody with armor is going to lose the armor, so you got to kind of keep that in mind. But so long as you stay apprised of that, you can do a lot of fun things here. So I really like ballistas because they do 1 damage when they come out and then they carry over to the next round, and you can use the 2nd damage with the order ability later. Redanian Knights are trash. Of course they're going to get points every turn and they kind of just sit on your range throw generating value, but between turns they're going to lose that armor and they're going to get reset back down to their base value of 1, and then pushed up to melee row without doing any damage between turns. So just something to keep in mind. That's what happens. The other orders I think are a little bit better. Formation units are you know, they're fine. You can give them the boost if they have an inspired boost proc associated with them, but otherwise just kind of leave them. But everything in here is pretty much just part of a damage package because of Sihil. So Sihil is going to come out with resilience, and you're going to be able to damage enemy units and have a lot of fun. The one thing I do think that you want to keep in your deck is at least 1 Spring Equinox, just to erase a whole bunch of value from an opponent's row. Also helps get around some defenders. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty good package. I'd recommend it. It's pretty fun. So let's walk you through some gameplay. If you're not a fan of seasonal, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. This seasonal is actually one of my favorite seasonals. The resilience just makes it kind of a really fun gameplay without needing a lot of like the weird math of season of like Viper with momentum, Draconid where you have to eliminate all cards that have like a really long video attached with them, where you have to like watch the card make a really slow play, taking forever. So anyway, I find it to be pretty exciting and not really all that complicated. So I actually really like Dun Banners as a blue coin play. And then you just drop down a siege support, give them a boost, call the other one out. If the opponent wants to remove them, you know, all the better for them. Revenants are helpful here, but not super great. I don't want to break into that, and I definitely didn't want to break into them. But we are where we are. We're going to hold on Nero for next round. I think we're just going to focus on getting out as many blue stripes as possible and then feeding them into a Burning Roach later play. So basically the idea here is you want to get out all of your tutors, so Dun Banners, the Commandos, and then once you have them out, then you can play Vernon Roach. He'll pull out 2 cards from your deck. You'll play both of those and get some good value. So here we just kind of want to get as much value as we can out of these other cards. I find this is a common play I'm seeing a lot of people make here with Slave Hunters. Don't play them to the same row. They don't need to go to the same row. It just feeds Equinox. So that being the case, here we're just going to drop down Dun Banner, as I had mentioned before. I'm just going to let them sit here. They do get resilience. You know, there is 2 damage sitting here for the opponent if they want to erase him from the board. You know, that's unfortunate, but it's not the end of our day. Probably should have gone to melee since siege support's going to go to this row, but we know Blue Stripe Scout has to go to melee. So So it's not so bad. So there's not a way for the opponent to generate 3 damage here, so I think they might just sit on this. And they do. So we'll just go for siege support here. They get resilience. We get out the other dun banner. Makes for decent tempo. But as always, doing this on Twitch, having a lot of fun. Whenever we're between videos, we do some super spicy play. But welcome, Slav Squirrel. Yeah, we're doing seasonal. I'm out of ideas for Northern Realms. I feel like I've come up with everything I could come up with that can get wins.
What do you want?
So it's time to do some other stuff. So Sihil notably is only opponent units. Here we just want to get out as much value as we can.
Semper Fi! Death to the enemy!
All of these summoned units are just going to come down. They don't get resilience. Siege support is an interesting play. I would expect some value there. I'm just here trying to play out some of my units, forcing the opponent to continue stacking up theirs, and then we're going to go for the spring equinox here. So I'm hoping to get amphibious assault this next round, or Pavetta, which will give me some flexibility, and then hopefully we can just grab Sihil. There are very few cards that purify units. So the ones I'm most concerned about here are probably the melee row. That being the case, we're going to damage the ranged row units with resilience just so we can get some value there. And we are on red coin, so as long as we're like conceivably within range, it's still worthwhile. And tutoring out amphibious assault onto an extra blue stripe scout wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I will say though, this commando is going to stick here, so if we can get a purify onto it, that wouldn't be so bad.
My loyalty is to Imperial coin, not to the face that picked.
Brothen's is another assimilate engine, so here the opponent just putting all of their assimilate engines on the melee row. Not the greatest of strategies. We're going to go ahead and erase all this resilience. And we'll damage this siege support and then erase it with our Redanian archer next turn. I think the opponent's going to go for a hard pass here. But they might just keep playing. Who knows? People make all kinds of choices these days. Cantarella here could be really bad for us depending on what they get. Revenant is really not all that worrying to me, although they will get value on the Duchess Informant and Cantarella. But a summoned unit is the one with the order, so this is kind of a really poor play. It would have been better to carry that over to the next round. I'd also be looking for Sihil. Sihil does come with Zeal, so we'll erase the siege support. And look at all the units we kept versus the opponent. So they're down a card. Pavetta is really what we wanted to see. Here, I'm just going to be drawing to see if I can get like Vess or Merciless. This is glorious. We did miss Amphibious Assault here, but I am going to go for Sihil. I would prefer to have Sihil over Amphib, just because Sihil has so much value over time. And we're going to be able to bring at least one archer into next round. Okay, this works great for us. So here we get down Sihil. It gets resilience, and we're able to just start hacking away at the opponent's units. It saw that play and knew they wanted to get out of this. So here we would have just played Pavetta, used Oniro onto Amphib to get a blue stripe scout. We had so much value stocked up in that last round. Alright, let's jump into another match, show you guys one more, show you how this goes. But for those of you unfamiliar with Sihil, it has a 2-turn cooldown. Every time you get a death blow, its damage increases by 1. So it's typically really difficult to squeeze into a deck in the current meta, just because there's so much value in other removal cards. But it's pretty easy to use especially with the charge archetype inside of Northern Realms to get those individual damage pings. Here, once again, getting Spring Equinox round 1. That's really what you want to see. Drummer is helpful, especially under this Dun banner. We're going to put this Revenant back. Sihil is fantastic. And because we're getting Roach, we're going to 2-drought all of our good friends without needing to get resilience on any of them, so we can put them back into the deck and call them out with Amphibious Assault later. We don't have Pavetta, so we definitely don't want to play Amphib now.
Attention! Present arms!
So I know a lot of other people do like some of these big units. The big unit play can be, you know, some good value. That's up to you. Caretaker is really good, really strong in the seasonal, just because he plays for 7 points and you have this 2-turn cooldown on to Purify. Again, just a really strong play. Here we're gonna go for Siege Support, give a boost to Royal Guards, and then boost them up using the armor. Notice that almost all of the Purifies are units too, so that's why these other cards get such good value, like Sihil. We don't have a great way of damaging them, unfortunately. So here I'm actually going to go for a bit of a weird choice. Because we don't have Sabrina, or Pavetta, we don't have as much of an option here. But we do have Oneiromancy, and I do feel like playing a little more risky than normal. However, I'm just going to stick with this Sihil. And what we're going to do is damage this Diviner by 1. And then we can get down probably a Drummer and then Dun Banner. It's going to give us some good flexibility. But we also make it so this Purify sits here for a turn, so they can't just do it every other turn, which probably messes with their cadence of play. But welcome to everyone on Twitch. Yeah, we're doing some seasonal matches for next week. I'm trying to get everything recorded and then get everything posted up that way it can just kind of come sequentially. That way next week we can start working on some other games and start setting up, you know, in the event that people want to see other stuff, because I find that Gwent right now is in a little bit of a sad, dilapidated state that's going to hopefully get better in the next season or two, but just not super fun right now. Alright, so this Diviner does have Assimilate, so I do want to kind of wait on that. Drummer might be a target.
Army's a waste of time for like me.
Obviously this Poison's going to be problematic onto this Siege Support, but we can't get the Death Blow with Merciless yet anyway. Maral is an interesting choice. Poisons are smart because you're forcing your opponent to use their Purify cards onto their own stuff. Alright, so I actually do want to build up the Sihil. They do have a 2-time poison though. So instead we're just going to continue with this. Obviously it's best if you can get the death blows, but here we're just kind of going for the tempo. We need to get this Merciless out. And this poison sets up for a double kill. So basically what you'll do is you'll poison with the Maral and then use a different poison unit. Oh, with really good effect. They're still sitting on it, which causes us some problems. But we don't have a lot of options here, so we're just going to take the copy. If nothing else, we at least get the copy there. We're just gonna end the turn. I expect to see this this commando get removed here. We still are up against the opponent. They still keep this this poison removal at hand. We're gonna erase Caretaker just because he's so much value over time. And we're just gonna sit on... Actually, let's damage down this morale. Let's see if we can force that out prematurely. Now, another option you have here, you can go for your blue stripe scouts onto the Dun banner. Works pretty well. Thirsty Dames are really strong play, because every time you play a resilience unit, they get value as well. But here we're just going to go ahead and go for a pass. Actually, so let's go ahead and use it. Vernon now.
Mary, that's what matters.
So this way we're going to get out and boost.
Trouble approaches.
And we get out our other Blue Stripes Commando here. Now I can use mobilization on Commando. It's going to give me an extra copy and also make it so I can't erase any of them. Typically I like to use it on the archers, but here that actually looks like a good option for me. It gives me future tempo. I think we're going to see this Purify come down, likely onto the siege support. And as always, for those of you on YouTube and for those of you on Twitch right now, I'm always open to new ideas. I love when you give me challenges. You saw earlier this week we did that neutral Lambert Swordmaster deck. I just love the difficulty of that and how much that made my brain need to go to work. And I really deeply enjoyed that. So here we're going to go for a Blue Stripe Scout. It's just carryover value for us. And then we just get all these commandos ripping, roaring, ready to go. I think what we're going to do here is just damage down this Vernon Roach. 2, that way we can use a ballista to damage him down to 1, use Sihil to clean that off, and get some value that way. The longer we've played here, though, the more value our opponent's been able to set up with their own resilience units. So a little bit the inverted problem of last game, where last game we had a lot of units that we had played and then use our own purifies to great effect, but here the opponent setting up some late game plays are really quite effective. I'll say one good thing about spies too, you can really clutter your opponent's rows and force some awkwardness with play.
No audiences.
We're just going to take a pass here. I'm just holding on to Amphibious Assault because we're going to need that for next round. We're going to have to put up a lot of points, as the opponent here is going to be carrying over 3, 6, 10, 14, 17, and then I guess more run probably counts too. 21, 25, 31 points. So the Purify does not work on Sihil because it's not a unit. Oh, it's really not going to matter. We're going to have to concoct a magical way of coming up with some crazy value. We do get Oniro here, and we do get Pavetta, so I'm actually pretty happy with the outcome. Ballista would be helpful in knocking some of these down, but not polishing any of them off. We'll stick with it, though. These Thirsty Dames just play so well here.
My, the Van Moorlands, they truly spoil us.
So we're gonna set up this one with 2 and hopefully get to this one at 3. So we're a little off here with Sihil. Opponent was just really able to play around it really well last round. And we just didn't have nearly enough damage units like we needed. So I'm just inferring that they don't have a poison here. So here what you do, you go to the damage, then you finish it off, and now you'll see its damage is up to 2. So we'll get up to 3 this round, but that's going to be it. So here we go for Pavetta. We cycle back all the blue stripe commandos, and then we'll be able to play them all out while the opponent has us up by 2 cards here. Still, they have incredible value. So one thing that we can do is go for this blue stripe scout. I think that's probably the best value we can go for. So we're going to go a Nero onto blue stripe commando. We actually want to do them to melee. It's going to be a little tight here, but I think we can get it done. And then you just want to play the amphib onto scout first. That way you're summoning the unit that he just spawned. We fall just shy of the opponent. But you're able to see here, we're able to string together some crazy tempo. We just kind of lost out to the opponent, just getting a little bit better draws than us to counter what we were able to use. It would have been better had we been able to set up some more value on that Sihil, get more removal. But missing out on the zeal necessary to play with that roach was really unfortunate. So we'll play one more game here for this video and have some fun. Pincer Maneuver is another fun way you can engage in the seasonal. You get to play the unit that you're summoning, so it counts, and it's pre-boosted. Just remember that boost does not carry over. Alright, so here we do get the Drog, which is where a lot of the fun of this match is. We're going to put back this Dun Banner, and then we're going to put back this Blue Stripe Commando. So this works out really well for us. I'd say the only other thing we might want to change here is this Revenant. I'd like to get a, well, first off, one of our tutor cards, but also something that does some damage for it first. Sahil's just going to be a little bit awkward here otherwise. We'll start off with Ravid's Royal Guards. They're just a great blue coin play to me. They either force out some removal or allow us to add some girth to the next units we drop down. Drummer here looks pretty nice.
The sky'll burn with the eternal fire.
So we're gonna get out Sihil. We just want to chop out this armor from the opponent, just to force them to stop getting charges. And we'll probably just use this boost. We might see a spell come out here. Sentry and Knight is a weird choice. But everybody gets to make their own choices. We'll just be setting up for a Roach Merciless here pretty soon. So let's actually go ahead here for siege support.
What do you want?
Not boosting anything, but we'll just go ahead and give that a shield. So next turn we'll be able to do 1 damage ping onto this Redanian Archer, get out Roach Merciless, and then give the Commando Zeal and get them out that way. Again, none of those commandos are going to have resilience, but that's actually what we want. The Royal Guards here coming down, likely to try to give more armor to this Redanian Archer. It's going to be a fruitless task, though, as we're about to erase it from existence.
Temerian. That's what matters.
Semper Fi!
Nice mess you've got here.
And now we set up, and I do think that it's really helpful here. You just want to play these Blue Stripe Scouts. Not only are they carryover value because they get resilience themselves, but they just are a really, really great setup for future value and tempo out of these Blue Stripe Commandos. If you've already played them, I mean, you can't use the Amphib like we did last game, but you're gonna have 5 of them total that you're gonna be able to tutor out into a future round. I do like Visigato here. Visigato makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of cards that get played, and you can have a lot of fun with them.
Regroup.
Death to the enemy!
Right now, we're up by quite a bit. We have several cards down. We're just going to get one more of these Blue Stripe Scouts out and then get out of this round, most likely. All of these units are pre-boosted, so they're going to lose their boost. They're going to lose their armor going into next round. Would it have been better to get more value on this Sihil? Probably.
Forward march!
But I think at this point with Visigato and Brainerd out, we're kind of out of range here.
Elves must die!
We are going to damage Raynor just because we can.
Nice mess you've got here.
Drummer also works well though here. But I think we're going to see the opponent close the gap here really quickly. This is just such a great combo play. But right now we're carrying over 7, 11, 15 points. Got 14 points. Sorry, 6, 10, 12. The opponent carrying over quite a bit more than us here. Obviously, we don't want the dun banners. We don't want to break into them. That was unfortunate. Still looking for our Redanian archers and our amphibious assault. Let's go ahead and put this revenant back. Pavetta works well though.
If the king demands a head, I'll give him yours.
I do want to be cognizant here of my spacing. We're going to want to get Drog working here pretty quickly. I think we're going to want to put all these to ranged. So we're just going to go ahead here and put Pavetta on melee.
You stop, please.
So the typical play here is to use Drog, convert your units into Revenants, play the other Revenants, then you can use Sabrina's Inferno to just rain down Holy Hammer onto your opponent. She deals 1 damage to all units on the battlefield that are non-specters. So basically everyone but Revenants. Lebioda's interesting here. We're going to use Ballista. I think we'll just damage this Ballista and then we'll start attacking some of these other units. Just wanting to set up this value on Sihil. So right now we have 5 of these blue striped commandos. The Drog's going to take up an extra space. Yen Conjurer is a fascinating play.
You crossed the wrong sorceress.
People bringing all kinds of spice into seasonal. I love getting inspiration from them. Okay, here we're going to go for Amphib, not just to bulk up the unit, but also so we can carry over for next round.
Semper Fi!
But then this next round, we're going to be able to trigger him, drop down Drog. On Sace, a pre-boosted on Sace. Coming out with Pincer Maneuver here. Just denying all value to us. Alright, that was a poor play on my part. Yeah, really not smart at all from me. But we are where we are. Alright, so here instead I think we'll get... Let's go ahead and get some boosts here.
Salutations.
Oh, some days you win them, some days you definitely don't. So this Yen Conjurer is going to cause us a lot of problems. Drog's going to give us some leeway with that, but not a lot. And this game is pretty much over. We missed that other play. Just kind of poor thinking on my part. I should have imagined that this Pincer Maneuver was grabbing something like unsafe. So we're just going to go ahead and call this a game. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's seasonal. Sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it very much does not. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We did win that first game, and I promise this deck is pretty fun to use. So, but get out there. Good luck on the path. Keep on Gwenting.